Welcome back, everyone, here to Live Now from Fox. Next up, we want to take you out to Colorado for a wild story that a trial has been going on for the last couple of weeks. And now we are learning that the Colorado dentist that was accused of killing his wife with poison protein shakes was convicted of murder. So let's listen in here on Live Now from Fox for more.
This is a question for the Craig family as well, if you want to answer it. We saw 3 of the children in court. Can you speak to how collectively, without naming them, obviously, they're handling the situation?
No.
No? Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, Sherry took an interview. It's amazing.
Appeals process? Is there any grounds for any kind of appeals you guys are already thinking about in a case like this?
So there will inevitably be an appeal in this case, and we'll stand ready to defend this conviction.
There was obviously nationwide attention on this case, on this theme, if you will. Why do you think this case garnered so much attention? What about this case to so many people? Why does it touch so many nerves?
You know, I think when I'm going to pass this one on to one of my colleagues. I was not part of this case in the beginning when all of this was coming together, and I'll pass it on to Mike.
Well, I'll say I think about Angela Craig every single day. I never got to meet her, and I think people are fascinated because of the absolute senselessness, the absolute heinousness of what occurred, and that there was no way really for her or anyone to see this coming. It's not as though she was engaged in any kind of risky behavior or lifestyle, and not that that justifies anything that befalls anybody who is, but sometimes you can understand that a little bit better. This was a woman who just went to church and took care of her family and should have been safe. Should have been safe in her home with her husband of more than 20 years, the father of her 6 children. She should have been in no danger. I mean, she was physically and mentally well. She worked on those things every day, above average physical fitness. And she should have lived another 50 years at least. And I think people just are shocked that something like this could happen to someone like her. I think that's why.
If I could add to that, I think part of it is just really what we referred to earlier as the stunning nature of this offense. This is Angela's husband is poisoning her, causing her to die a slow death. It wasn't something done in the heat of passion. It was deliberate. It was over the course of days. And then the cover-up afterwards, enlisting his own daughter to attempt to make a deep fake video. To me, that was what was so stunning about this case, and I think that's why it's garnered national attention.
I have one question. Is not only the stunning nature of this, but you think about if not for this, like the Redfords, the office manager. There's so many different. Karen Kane coming forward. Can you kind of give us an idea of the heroes in this case who were able, if not for them, she might not have had an autopsy and she might have been cremated?
So certainly the office manager, in recognizing that something was wrong, and the office manager also in her testimony expressed a lot of care and concern for Angela. Dr. Craig, who I think I'm going to call James Craig at this point, he got a lot of texts from people in his life every day. How's Angela? How is she doing? Is she getting better? Have you figured out what's wrong with her? It was the office manager who put it all together and made the right phone call. It was Dr. Ryan Redfern and his wife, Dr. Michelle Redfern, who reported this to the hospital staff, and the hospital staff immediately went into action, and they did what they can do to try to save her life. And it was too late, but they went then and confronted James Craig, and they held him to the truth, which they eventually got from him. And then the other heroes are those who continue to come forward, those who continue to cooperate with the police. Many of them from within the Arapahoe County Jail, and members of their family and people that they were able to contact. People came forward because it just wasn't right. One of our alleged jailhouse witnesses said it was just the right thing to do. What he did to his wife was wrong. It was the right thing to do. So everyone who cooperated, who participated, were the heroes of this case. And I think of those detectives from the Aurora Police Department who got involved in this case in the evening of March 15th and didn't sleep for days and didn't stop working until about an hour ago when the jury came back and found James Craig guilty. So a lot of heroes in this case.
Does this case stand apart for you? This is the most, I don't want to put words in your mouth, is it, if not unusual, the most heinous that you handled?
I think we can go down the row here and we can all say that as long as we've been in this work, we've seen a lot of really horrible things. This was among one of the most horrible things. And D.A. Patton just alluded to enlisting his daughter to try to help him cover this case up, to fix this case, was probably one of the more heinous things that I've seen. So seeing no further questions, no further hands, thanks everyone for coming. Eric Ross, our PIO, Jamie Sorrells, myself were available.
Post-sentencing news conference wrapping up there in Colorado. And this was a case that really got national attention. And now we know that James Craig, who's 47, a Colorado dentist, was convicted of first-degree murder of poisoning his wife, Angela Craig. And today also was the sentencing, getting life in prison. At the sentencing, some of the victim impact statements happened, and his family members speaking out against him, and also the family members of Angela breaking down in the court. As you can imagine, a very, very hard case for them after finding out that James Craig poisoned his wife and was known to have an extramarital affair and was also having deep financial issues, decided to kill his wife. And it was a pattern that Angela would go to the hospital for more than 3 times in a week until her death, where she was not able to beat it. You are watching live now from Fox, everyone. We appreciate everyone continuing to join us here.